Hello my dear students, so this is your Faradi Baha teaching you class 11th political science. As in the previous lectures up till now we have completed a couple of chapters. The first chapter was Constitution, which was a very detailed chapter, as this year according to the syllabus it has also taken into consideration various other chapters that have been merged, making it a very comprehensive one, including the details about the Constitution, the rights, as well as Constitution as a living document and the discussion on the philosophy of the Constitution. So after that we began with the book, the second book, that is the book of political theory, where in the first chapter we discussed about political theory and introduction and why do we study political theory. In the chapter second, we studied about one very important idea which is explained by the political theory, and that was the idea of freedom. Moving to the third chapter of the same book and the second idea, today we are going to start with the chapter on equality. Children, before I begin this chapter, I would like to tell you one thing. Kindly attempt all your NCERT questions, the exercises that are given behind your NCERT chapters in your notebooks, and that would be discussed in detail when we meet. So kindly attempt all those questions, and while attempting the question, in the first lecture only I told you about the various types of questions that are asked in political science. So the detailed questions, always remember answer those questions in points, giving a detailed answer wherever required. So please do start doing all your NCERT questions in your notebooks. Extra questions we will be giving to you time to time. So without wasting any more time, let's come to our today's topic, and that is the term equality. Right from the day I am teaching you this new subject of political science this year, you all must have heard me using this term equality again and again, be it in concept of constitution, be it in concept of political ideas, equality of opportunities, equality of law, and so on. So why this term equality is used again and again? The reason is that this term equality is a powerful moral and political idea that has inspired and guided the human society for many centuries. This is the main idea for which the human beings, they keep on pursuing their life to achieve an equality of opportunities and equality of status, and in other terms. This term of equality is implicit in all faiths and religions which proclaim that all human beings are the creation of God. Moreover, if you discuss this term in political sense, then politically the concept of equality invokes the idea that all human beings have an equal worth regardless of their color, race, gender, or nationality. And when they all are equal, then automatically we come to the concept that therefore the human beings deserve equal respect and consideration because of the common humanity. If you talk about in the modern period, equality of human being has been used as a rallying slogan in the struggles against states and social institutions which uphold inequalities of rank, wealth, status, or privilege among people. This is the main concept for which people have fought against the various colonial rules in Asia and Africa. In the last chapter only we have read about Nelson Mandela, who fought against the apartheid in South Africa. Now what was apartheid? Apartheid was basically discrimination based on color. So automatically what he aspired for, what he struggled for was equality irrespective of color. But in spite of the importance of this term, in spite of people advocating this term, fighting for this term, you all know about a father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, who always worked for achieving equality, and he did not believe, he strongly went against the caste system. So in spite of all this, around us is actually not equality, it is inequality. If you see, inequality is visible in every section of the society in one form or the other. It may be the inequality of status, it may be the inequality on the basis of color, it may be inequality on the basis of nationality. I will just read out a few details that will give you an idea that what is the amount of inequality which is there in the society. The richest 50 individuals in the world have a combined income which is greater than that of the poorest 40 crore people. Just imagine, my dear students, 50 equal to 40 crores. Secondly, the poorest 40% of the world population receives only 5% of the global income. 40% population, 5% income. Thirdly, the first world of the advanced industrial countries, mainly North America and Western Europe, with 25% of the world population, owns 86% of the world's industry and consumes 80% of the world's energy. Just imagine the countries which are so thickly populated, they hardly have anything to remaining with them. As far as on a per capita basis, the resident of the advanced industrial countries consumes at least 3 times as much water, 10 times as much energy, 13 times as much iron and steel, and 14 times as much paper as someone living in a developing country like India. Moreover, the risk of dying from pregnancy-related causes is 1 to 18 in Nigeria, but 1 to 8,700 in Canada. So just imagine the disparity in the industrial sector, disparity in the wealth, disparity in population, disparity in the health-related services. The industrial countries of the first world account for nearly 2/3 of the global emissions of carbon dioxide from the combustion of fossil fuels. They also account for 3/4 of emissions of sulfur and nitrogen oxide that causes acid rain. Many industries known for their high rate of pollution are being shifted from the developed countries to the less developed countries. So you just heard a few statistics that I read for you, which clearly shows inequality prevailing everywhere. Inequality between the developed countries and the developing countries, that may be in terms of wealth, it may be resources, it may be health conditions, pollution and everything. So this is, you could say, this is a very, very severe paradox that actually we all are promoting equality, but what is happening is inequality everywhere. So now comes the question that why is equality one of the central themes of social and political theory? The most important reason for this is because almost everyone accepts the ideal of equality, yet almost everywhere we encounter inequality. But there are some very important questions that are needed to be answered, and the reason that we answer these questions when we are studying political theory. So these questions include, actually we want to understand what does equality imply. Secondly, what are we trying to achieve through the ideal of equality? Thirdly, what kind of equality are we pursuing and for whom? Then, how should a society decide that which differences of treatment are acceptable and which are not? And finally, what kind of policies should we pursue to try and make the society more egalitarian? Egalitarian means a society more with very, very less amount of inequality, in fact no amount of inequality, and where all individuals are equal. So how do we achieve, how do we work for that particular kind of society? Now one very important thing is that before I actually go into detail of what is equality, if you remember, I'll give you an example. Many of you already must have heard of. In the time when Britishers ruled India, there were very many places where outside it was written that Indians are not, Indians or dogs are not allowed. Similarly, there are very many places where there is racial discrimination. What happens? There are symbols written there that the blacks the colored people should stay away and should stay at particular, should be seated at the rear. So what is all this? These are all actually symbols of inequality, symbols of discrimination. So okay, as far as we are promoting, we are saying equality. The equality means that treating every individual equally. But frankly speaking, if you talk about in the practical sense, then treating people with equal respect, it never means that treating them in an identical way, because there are instances on which there is a difference in the treatment given to two different individuals, and the smooth functioning of the society, it actually requires that the division of work and functions and people often enjoy different status and rewards on account of it. And these differences of treatment may appear acceptable or even necessary. For example, in an organization, there are two different people. One is working on a senior post as a manager and the other is working as a peon. So automatically, respect, okay, they both are very, very important for the organization. They both earn an amount of respect as an individual. But can we suggest them to give an equal wage? Why? Of course, we cannot. At that moment, we have to treat them differently. The reason is that the work which they do, they are held accountable for the difference in the work that they are doing for the organization. So at that particular level, treating them both differently is acceptable. On the other hand, there are some kind of inequalities which are totally unjust, and these inequalities are the inequalities that are based on the term of, suppose an example, a child is born in a slum area. Then he or she is also entitled to an equal opportunity for nutritious food, for good education, and later on achieving good jobs. If he is not given those opportunities, then we say that this kind of inequality is totally unjust. So the commitment to the ideal of equality does not imply the elimination of all forms of differences. There are differences at various places, and those differences are acceptable, but it merely suggests that the treatment we receive and the opportunities we enjoy must not be predetermined by birth or by social circumstances. That is, no form of inequality can be justified if it is on the basis of a person's birth, a person's social circumstance. Just like I gave you an example of a child taking birth in a slum area. He is also entitled to have equal opportunities in terms of good food, good education, and a fair enough chance for a good job. So in the next lectures, we will be talking about the same concept and in detail about the various types of inequalities that exist in the society. So till then, kindly notify your previous lectures and attempt the questions that have been given in the NCERT. Till then, keep studying and study safe. And